So this is going to be a fun one, I think. We'll see. We tried this last time, and unfortunately, what ended up happening was I didn't record any audio. Yay me. Awesome.
Our facial expressions weren't great, though.
Yeah, I definitely told the story. Definitely told the story. So thanks for joining. Welcome back to JD and Jess. I am your host, JD.
And I'm your other host, Jess.
Day. All right, so today, it's actually funny because I didn't want to have this conversation on the camera anytime soon.
He's been like super avoiding it.
I don't know why. I think it's because of what I thought our podcast would be. So let's get into that. Today's podcast or today's show, whatever the heck these are called anymore.
I don't think they're podcasts.
This discussion is going to be about sex. Let's talk about sex, baby.
Yeah.
About you and me.
We're Christians, and
Let's talk about Christian sex.
Have sex.
So is Christian sex different than secular sex?
Yes and no.
That's the starting question.
Well, okay. I'll say there is value. So anyone hearing me out, don't get me wrong. There is value in waiting till marriage. There's a reason that was the Lord's design, right? We need that. There's a lot of reasons. We would have avoided so much heartache had we waited. Yeah. And in the marriages that I get to see, being a leader in our church that do wait, there's just, it's different. You know, there's a big difference there. You don't have to regain footing, and you're already kind of on the path of what the Lord designed sex to be. But purity culture,
she said, but
purity culture also kind of gave, I'll say, speaking from a female standpoint, this almost like this taboo.
I can't speak from that perspective.
Thank the Lord. So it almost gave like this taboo thing, aura of like not talking about sex at all, right? Like it's dirty and it's, so then you see these marriages where they did wait and you get in and then you don't know what's okay. You don't know what you can talk about. Mm-hmm. You feel like every sexual thought is
impure.
Yeah. And that's not the case. If your spouse is good with it and you are before the Lord in your bedroom, or sure, you can be at a hotel. We've done it at a hotel. And it wasn't impure. But if you're doing it in the Lord's design, then there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, in the Lord's design. Please understand that.
Yes.
Please understand that when we say that, in the Lord's design specifically. Now, at the same time, we're not saying, we're non-judgmental here. We're not saying, don't do. We're also not saying that it's okay to have sex before marriage.
No, there is value in waiting.
We 100% would absolutely love for all of our children to wait until marriage, finding out they have the right person.
Yeah.
And that God gave them to explore that.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. The key word is exploring, right? So once you're in a marriage, that's your partner for life.
Yeah.
At that point. So
have fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Have fun with it. Explore different things. Don't be afraid of. I say this because I just recently, got the courage to be like, hey, babe, I really like this. Do you think this is something, kind of thing?
We could try, yeah.
Yeah, and it's not. We're not crazy. Like, it's not. Don't
there.
Don't let your mind go crazy about what we're asking in bed. But these are the kind of things that you should do with your spouse.
Yeah.
A lot of people, we've heard people talk about how, unfortunately, and I hate to hear, is the lack of sex between them in a couple. The lack of, if you can't do that.
No, And, I'll get into like the chore part of sex in a second, but I will say that like having communication first and foremost is key. And that's what I was kind of going back to on like the purity culture, because you've got all these church leaders and parents and, these people over you as a young, you know, as a young person, as a young adult even, that are talking about, sex, and they put it in such a shameful light. And if you're, in that, hear me. I believe you should wait till marriage. There is value in that. And that's what the Lord designed you to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's okay to talk about, it's okay to have questions and, find someone that you trust of the same sex before you're married. And then, and ask questions, and that's okay. And then whenever you're married, you can re-ask all of those questions again.
Yeah.
I, am going to be a little bit vulnerable here. There was so much about the male body I didn't know until we were together, and I would just ask questions all the time.
Definitely.
And yeah, and I really just got to learn and explore and understand how he works. And I mean, I'm guessing that's how other men work, but it's there's something so safe here because our communication is good. There were times when our communication, because of hurts and because of betrayals, that communication around sex was not good.
Right.
And so recently, what came up was a conversation between me and another person who recently went into the workplace and realized that there was something about the male gender, I guess, that really attracted her. And as we got to talk about that, I was like, and there's actually nothing wrong with that, whether she be married or not. If you're realizing that there's something about, the opposite sex that attracts you, then talk to your spouse about it.
Yeah.
So very simple.
Well, hold on. Let's I'm out. Let's make sure you explain that though. It's understanding that, yes, but at the same time, we're not saying to go out, because that's not what the Lord wants. The Lord does not.
No, don't go lusting after people now.
Thank you. You should have put that out there.
Yeah.
That's the main thing, right? Like understanding the attraction to it. It's not always the person specifically. And I'll let you get into that, but there's more to the what you saw somebody wearing, something they smelled like, something that you're just like, ooh, I like that. And I'll let you finish off here. But ultimately, what I wanted to say was, we don't want to allow the don't lust over people. That's not what she was getting at. I just wanted to make sure you guys understood before she goes any further than that. So,
all right. So a simple explanation for this would be, I noticed, a male in short in short shorts, and I noticed it once. And of course, in my head, as a Christian woman, I'm like, okay, back to the tasks. I noticed. No big deal. I don't remember who it was. I don't remember anything about this person. They passed me probably at Walmart, right? Then I noticed again. And a couple of times after that. And then I realized, oh, this is something worth bringing up to my husband. I don't have any feelings toward them. I don't see these other guys in any type of sexual light, right? I just noticed that I like the short shorts, and my husband's quads will look amazing in them. So I told you that I would absolutely love to see you in short shorts.
She wanted me back in my sexy silkies in the Marine Corps.
Listen, y'all, when he puts on some shorts,
it's because of my legs.
He's beautiful legs. So there's where it wasn't lustful in that situation, I'm now seeing it on you, my favorite, most amazing person in the whole wide world, and it's fantastic, right? And of course, there's going to be times when I might tell you something that I like or I think would look good on you, and you're going to be like, not the vibe. And then we're going to move on with life, you know? And that's when, I mean, not saying it's shorts, but like, that's when my self-control would come into play, right?
Well, there were times where she'd want me. I'm a big guy. I'm not small. I'm not huge, but I'm a big guy.
He's broad.
I'm broad. And she would be like, "Oh, I really like this shirt. You should wear larges." Like, I don't like wearing a large is tight on me. This is a large. This is kind of tight on me. It's actually looser now because I'm losing weight. But I don't like the way clothes feel on me when they're tight, even around muscle. Like I don't have the biggest arms. I get that, but I just hate the way it feels around me. But she loves the way it looks on me, and I'm like, God, this is ridiculous. So sometimes I'll be like, okay, I'll do it. But then other times I'm like, dude, no, give me my extra large shirt. I want to be comfortable. Give me my baggy clothes. I don't need everybody seeing, you know, all my rolls and everything else that I got going on. But those are the kind of things. But she had brought it to my attention. We had that conversation in the room about, hey, you know, if there's ever anything that like you find attractive on a woman, you know, I think the conversation was more.
Well, okay, so from that conversation that I had with a friend, I realized we hadn't in quite a while, from probably our, you know, the hurts and the stuff. And you know, we evolve as humans all the time, right? We grow. So our sexual preferences might grow. The things that attract us might grow. And if those communication, you know, waves aren't open, if we're not communicating about all of that, then we're missing pieces of each other's growth.
Yeah.
And we're not growing together. So I wanted to touch bases with you to see like, hey, is there something like the shorts in my scenario, you know, that you have seen on someone else that you think would look great on me? Now, I'm going to say something that people might, you know, might rub you the wrong way, but it's
rub them.
It's the way that I see it. I'd really rather you go looking for it on me.
Yeah.
You know? Now, if you go seeking it somewhere else, I'm not going to blame myself because you're a big boy and you can make those decisions for yourself, and that's not my responsibility. But, you know, why not? We can have the conversations. And we did. We had something about altering some things, body-wise, that, you know, we kind of almost came to a compromise on because
word compromise.
I know.
I understand.
But it was, you know, and it was a good one, you know, and now it's on the list.
Yeah, and the conversation was more or less of when she's going through her Amazon list and all the stuff that she wants to buy. She wants to feel good in what she wears.
Sure.
Her bikinis, all that stuff. Yes, Christians, you can wear bikinis.
If you and your spouse and the Lord are okay with it.
Yeah, as long as you understand what you're doing. Just everything that we talked about when it comes to your life, don't do it. Don't do anything if you're married specifically, or just as a human being. Don't do anything to attract somebody that's not your spouse.
Oh yeah.
Like, it's gonna happen either way for the most part. I've told her time and time again, I hate that you're so beautiful, because I know that men are gonna gawk at her, men are gonna say something to her, but I also know that because she's a godly woman and because we've grown so much, I don't have to worry about that.
I don't even notice.
And then, no. But again, going back to what I was saying, these are the things that I've seen that she likes. And I'm like, you know, she looks at these things, it just would fit differently on her because she's built differently. Mm-hmm. So we had the conversation, like, you know, a lot of stuff that you want to look good in would look different if you did this.
Yeah.
And it would actually make a lot more sense. And that was it. That was pretty much the end of the conversation.
And, you know, something else is I find a little bit more value, to be honest, whenever we talk about that kind of stuff, because of your personal training. Like, it's not a big deal to me that we can talk about body in that way. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a material thing. You know, we consider health. We consider, you know what I mean? So, like, I know that you're never going to be like, come out with something crazy and like, hey, you should get a BBL, you know, like, and hey, like, if don't do, again, no judgment. But, you know, like, we're not, that's
a Brazilian butt lift. For those of you that don't understand.
So,
And those
like,
are the stupid, I'm going to say that right.
No,
Those are
no, I said no judgment.
on her part. I honestly think that.
If you have a BBL, do not tell my husband.
If it's natural, that's different.
Oh my gosh.
But
there's that's surgery, homie.
No, there's people. I mean, yeah, that's true. That's true. I'm just saying, when I see those things, there's we're kind of off on the sex subject right now, but that's okay. There is altering your body, and then there is completely disforming your body, like deforming your body. And I just don't understand it.
I know.
I think it's the dumbest thing. But again, those are the kind of things that people do to say, look at me.
So
I don't like that. That's just
okay,
me.
Jessica. Yeah, sure. We'll go down this rabbit trail. Right? Let's entertain this for a second. He also doesn't do well with like eyelashes. I've worn eyelashes maybe 3 times in our marriage, like in 14 years. And then before that, I had never tried them before. So I won't normally. Maybe if it's a special occasion because.
Or maybe when I'm not around. when I'm not at the get together with our family.
We were recently at a he was the best man and I was the maid of honor, and it was important for like that makeup look for me to have extension. Yep. Not extension. Eyelashes.
Eyelash extension.
And I remember his face like when he first saw me, and he was trying so hard not to be rude. But like, I know that, we talk about these things. I know what he likes. I know what attracts him. And it'd be unfortunate if we didn't have, the communication to know that kind of stuff. Yeah. And so back to everything else, communication is key.
Yep.
Just like every other aspect of our marriage, whenever it comes to stuff in the bedroom, I've recently discovered that I like certain things, and we're able to talk, and sometimes those things might not be the most comfortable for you to try out, And
I don't know what you're talking about.
And you don't call us. I could tell you.
No.
Okay.
Tell everybody.
What? Oh no. But I've also noticed that as you feel better about you health-wise, and you feel better about you in the gym and what your body is doing, your confidence is going up, and you're a little bit more willing to try different things.
Yep.
So I use that to my advantage.
Yeah, she does.
But, we evolve, we change, and we're getting to grow together because we're exploring it together and we're communicating.
Yeah, I mean, God gave you a life partner, right? So if God gave you this life partner, why not explore these things together? Yeah. And I have to reiterate, guys, I'm not saying go crazy in the bedroom, but if that's what you do, high five, whatever, What I'm saying, though, is those kind of explorations should be done with your spouse.
Yeah.
And not with somebody else outside of your marriage.
Well, and the harms of things that happen, right, whenever we're not talking and figuring it out, especially coming from, say that we were virgins, getting married, that would be even scarier to talk about.
Yeah.
And so taking that off, that pressure, take it off, because what are the stories we hear, right? You're nervous as a teenager because everyone's talking about how bad sex is and the Lord's going to shun you and whatever, whenever, if you're sexual before marriage. Then you get married and you feel like all these things, all these ideas, all these, your sex drive that was developing whenever people are telling you this stuff, then you've stifled all of that. Yeah. And now there's this dirty, mindset on it, and this dirty, I guess,
that's pretty much it.
Idea. Then you're going to go inward. You're not going to tell anybody. That's when porn comes up. That's when, looking elsewhere comes up, because now I'm ashamed to talk to my spouse because I don't want that. But don't bring that into your marriage.
Yeah.
And that's why I say, like, there are so many things that can be avoided. One, if you take that off. The Lord gave you a sex drive.
Mhm.
He told us to procreate. It needs to feel good if you would want us to do that. So he designed us to want it because it feels it and for it to feel good. But it's supposed to be between the husband and the wife.
That's right.
And
As it should be.
And we're gonna have fun.
And we messed up a lot doing all that kind of stuff prior to marriage.
Sure.
And it was obvious that, let me drink some water. It was obvious that a lot of stuff that we were doing prior to marriage, prior to having the Lord in our lives, like things just weren't going well. Things were really, really rough, and it just kept leading us down the wrong path.
Yeah.
But, she said something earlier. I can't remember exactly what it was. The other thing I wanted to talk about specifically was the saying yes to your partner or saying no to your partner in that.
Yes.
Right? And it's not specifically to the sexual position or things that you're doing.
Right.
It's just sex in general, right?
Yeah.
Understand that both partners, hopefully for the most part, I think, at least let's go off of us. I'm not going to speculate anybody else. She works a lot. I work a lot. We get tired pretty dang easy.
We have 6 kids.
Yeah, we have 6 kids.
I mean,
we make sure that they're taken care of. We're taken care of. We hit the gym essentially every day now. Mm-hmm. Those are our times together. And then you got to find time with each other. I mean, we are attracted to each other. Like we show it all the dang time.
Anyone who knows us outside of this setting.
Yeah. Nice. But, when you're in the bed or in the shower, whatever it may be, sometimes you're just tired. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you are. Mm-hmm. That doesn't mean you're not attracted to each other. Yeah. It means you're tired. And something had came up and we were both tired. We were both really tired. And she had asked, hey, we're going to, do whatever. Yeah. And I was just like, no, right now I'm tired. I really want to, but I'm so tired. She's like, no, I too.
And then about 3 seconds later.
No, it was a little longer. I think so? Yeah, it was a little longer.
Okay.
We started watching, our stuff before we fall asleep. And I rolled over to it and I said, hey, what did I say?
You said, I don't want you, I want you to still feel wanted. I want to make sure you know that I still want you. It's just because I'm tired. And if you're wanting to do something, we can.
Yeah.
And it was like a check-in, only.
Yeah, I had to change my perspective on it because for me, the last thing I ever want her to feel is that I don't want her. Yeah. Or that I don't feel attracted to her for whatever reason. And that had nothing to do with it. It was legitimately just being tired. But the checking in was that. I wanted to make sure. And if she was just like, no, yeah, I want you now, then be a big boy, do big boy things, right? But
yeah, you will.
But at that moment, it was important that she understood that I didn't say no because I was not attracted to her at the moment. Yeah. I said no because I was tired. And that's something that I know for a fact, a lot of married couples fail to do. Yeah. The husband is needy and the wife I just don't want to do it. But there's no checking in or whatever it is. Needy. I'm going there. Okay. Or the wife is needy and the husband's like, I'm good right now, and then all of a sudden, what do you guys start doing? Oh, I wonder why he doesn't want me right now. Yeah. Is he thinking this? Oh, I wonder why she doesn't want me right now. Is that why she's been on her phone this whole time? Yeah. Like you start doing these stupid things to yourself, making yourself think that something's wrong. But that's why you have to check in on each other. Hey, look, it's as simple as that. Look.
It is.
I love you. I'm extremely attracted to you right now. I'm just really tired. If that's real. But for me and her, I think, again, I'm talking based on us, and this is something we want you guys to try to do as well.
Because it is something that we have struggled with before, right? Yeah. Like, where you are tired, and I'm going to be actually like super duper honest and say that even whenever I am tired, sometimes I still want you to pursue me. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't care if you push the buttons a little bit because they're, because then there's that opposite, right? Of like, if you've given that excuse so many times, then that is going to set in and the enemy is going to use that. Yeah. And, you know, as a mom, as a wife, you know, and just like, you know, being vulnerable, I get headaches just about every day, right? I have, most of our viewers have heard by now, I have autoimmune disorders. And so like I physically have issues where sometimes I'm not able to.
Wish you can't hear me. Auto immune auto.
Bro. so you know, like the no or the not tonight or the, you know, start complaining about this or that, but the enemy can use that too.
Yeah.
Right. And sometimes I do just need to say, you know what, put that aside. This is something that he is wanting or needing in this moment, and even if it's not something that we're going to do a full on, you know,
yes,
fireworks, I can still give you, Felix Day. I can still give you my time and give you intimacy. You know, and intimacy doesn't always have to be intercourse.
Yeah.
Right?
I like that.
Oh.
Intimacy doesn't always have to be intercourse. I like that.
Yeah.
That's good. I'm going to put it on a shirt.
Okay. Oh.
All right, carry on.
Wow. Let's not do that. He'll wear it.
I will.
So, you know, so we still can have moments where I can, you know, or you, depending on who. I know last time we did this specific show, I had brought up the 48-hour rule. So there's a couple that I saw on TikTok. Actually, I think I just saw the wife, so who knows. But she was sharing different ways that she and her husband prioritized their marriage. And, you know, there were different things that she hit that I was like, oh, I did that. Oh, I did that. We did that. It's great. Love it. And then she said, we have a 48-hour rule where whenever one of the spouses initiate intercourse or anything sexual, the other spouse has 48 hours to respond. And then for them, it avoids the I'm too tired. Well, and it fixes it, right? Like, okay, maybe in my head, I know tonight I'm too tired, but tomorrow night, like I got to bring my A game.
But I don't like that.
I know you.
I don't like that because
share why.
No, I don't remember exactly the full details of what we said last time, but I don't know. I don't think you should give a rain check. You know, it's one of those things like, okay, I tried this. It's not going to happen, but you got 48 hours. You know, 48 hours, and I'm like, hey, clock's ticking. It's been 48 hours. What's going on, right? Like
you've been watching the clock, like,
and
it's been 46 hours and 28 minutes.
But it turns into I don't like looking at anything sexual with your spouse as a chore, and that's what it turns into.
Yeah. Like
I really, and again, if it works for you, go for it. Yeah. I don't think that there should be a check. I don't think there's people out there, and if you're watching this and you're one of them, I'm sorry if you do this, and you should stop. But you shouldn't put it in the calendar on, all right, 6 o'clock on this time.
For some people.
It does work for some people, but that turns it into a chore, like it's a have to do. Sex with your spouse should not be a have to do. It should be spontaneous. It still should be fun. We've talked about how you should always pursue your spouse.
Sure, yes.
So in a sexual manner, if you're putting it on a chore list, if you're putting it on a calendar, that is not pursuing your spouse. That is doing a chore that's supposed to be, you know, like, let's talk about chores, right? We tell our kids all the time, you have to do this at this time, this time. Yeah. What do we always we expect them to do it?
Yes.
They don't always do it.
Yeah.
Which is horrible. Yeah. You're like, dude, we put it on the calendar for you to do it, but you're not doing that, right? We expect this chore from you. We expect you to do it. Why isn't it not done?
Yeah.
That's the same mentality you're putting into it when you're putting
Actually, okay.
When you're putting that onto
winning me over on this.
Yeah, it should not be. It shouldn't be. There should be no. People talk about, well, we don't have time for it. I promise you.
Oh, listen.
Most men last 5 to 10 minutes. You have plenty of time, my friend, to do stuff with your wife, and vice versa. I don't know about most women, but for men, don't pretend like you don't have time to do it. You have time when the kids are asleep. That's the purpose of putting kids to sleep. That's the purpose of having a bedtime. You have a bedtime specifically so it's not, not anything bigger than what people are thinking. Bedtime is so your kids can go to sleep, so you do have time for yourself and your spouse on purpose.
And having so many kids, and even in the earlier years of our marriage, having, like the extras, right? Like I have stepkids, you have like having the extras that aren't always full-time when we have an expectation of bedtime in our home, that set us up to be able to prioritize our marriage and our intimate time. But, and we never did sleep. We did sleep training. We never, allowed our children to sleep in the bed with us. We had to make, decisions based on what our relationship needed. Our children are well loved and they are well taken care of and they don't get scared at night. And we have, approached all of those hurdles in life. Our kids love their sleep. They love their beds and it's great.
Yeah.
And we have fantastic times after. Sometimes it's just Netflix and chill, and sometimes it's a shower, and sometimes it's,
But that goes into what I was saying.
all lights off and tennis shoes.
Just tennis shoes. So it's whatever you can. If you get it in, get it in. Like that's the thing, man. You guys got to stop. You guys got to stop making excuses of not being intimate.
No,
I don't have time for it. I can guarantee you. What I'm talking to people right now who you and your spouse have a lunch break, or you guys are in the kitchen. There's no kids around. Have fun with that crap, bro. Like, what are you waiting for? Why are you not trying to continuously pursue your wife in an intimate manner? Because this is the unfortunate truth. When you stop pursuing your wife intimacy, and they do start looking for it on devices or anything else, when that one person comes in who wants to give the intimacy, and they see it, unfortunately, especially if you don't have a grounded relationship with God, and especially if your marriage is already rocky, people are going to find it elsewhere.
Oh yeah, eyes are going to wander.
Don't give them a reason to do it. Be that stud for your wife if she wants you to be that stud.
And I'll say too, like, I don't believe that the spouse should ever carry the responsibility. If I go looking for it somewhere else, I'm not going to put that responsibility on you. I'm never going to say it's your fault, right? I do believe there are things that lead to that we can take ownership of individually, because in a marriage, there are two people. My actions are still my actions, and I have to answer to the Lord for them. And if you have an unhappy spouse, you have to answer to the Lord, for whatever you might have done in that. But why not put in the work? Why not do the things they prefer? Why not, you know what I mean? Be everything that, one, the Lord called you to be, but two, I want to be that girl of your dreams. Yeah. I want to be your fantasy girl. Yeah. Why would I let you have someone else in your head, faceless probably, right? Like, we all have these, things that we see or want to try, and it's faceless, right? But I want to be that. Yeah. I want to do all of those things. There's my biggest flex, y'all, like legit, my biggest flex is whenever my husband is in a room full of other men talking about issues, right? And the bedroom talk comes up, and they're talking about how marriage changed, the sex for them, or having kids change sex for them, or whenever we get in the bedroom, my wife isn't everything she used to be. It's been 14 years, and he can say, my wife is. I mean, he doesn't, but he could. And that is my biggest flex. Yeah. That I can walk away knowing I've been the sexiest one in the room to you. Yeah. I'm not trying for anybody else. I'm trying for you. And I love that. The Lord empowered me to do that.
Hey, and for men, it comes down to you deciding that that's what you want. Yeah. That's what I want. I want my wife to be everything.
Yeah.
I grew up without Christ.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of things in my head, that expectations I had of a woman, that were wrong. First off, they were wrong and not correct. It's not something that, should be done. But those are things I ask my wife. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I like this, I like this, I like this. Don't know why, whatever it is. We try it. It's either great or it's one-time thing, whatever it is.
There's been a few of the one-time things.
Yeah. But it's the pursuing. It's constantly pursuing in those areas.
And there's that thing too. Whenever I don't know how it is for you, right? But whenever I come to, well, first of all, whenever I come to you and you say yes, about something, or oh, we could try it, or maybe not that deep. Let's try something a little bit more.
What?
Which he does, yeah. And it's fine. But whenever we get to talk about that open and honestly, and you're not negative about it, that gives me so much confidence in not just me, but our marriage and our time together. And also whenever you come to me about things, it reminds me I am your person.
Mm-hmm.
And again, that's another confidence booster. And what's going to happen? Great time in the bedroom.
Yep. Or in the shower.
Or
wherever we can get it in.
Wherever. We have a really big car, so.
Yeah, guys, there's so much to it. We're gonna start rounding this up. We got about 3 minutes left.
Okay.
It's extremely important it's important to be comfortable talking to your spouse about the things that you want from each other when it comes to intimacy.
Yeah.
When you start blocking it, I'm just going to say this for the guys, right? If your wife's asking for something from you, don't be afraid of trying to pursue it. Don't just automatically say no, right? You've got to be willing to do certain, and that's not for everything though. I'm not saying everything, because there are things that are going to lead to a marriage to be completely crumbled if you allow certain things to happen in the bedroom. Mm-hmm. That's obvious.
Yeah.
I'm saying things between just you and your spouse alone. Nothing else. You two, the husband and the wife.
Yeah, the only people this decision should be between is the two spouses.
Yes.
And as long as it doesn't say you can't do this in the Bible,
go for it.
See what happens.
But you have to do that. You guys got to. We always say this, stop making excuses not to do things.
Yeah.
Everyone makes excuses on why they can't do something.
Yeah.
Makes excuses on why you can't go on a date, on why you can't do this, on why you can't be intimate with it. Stop making those excuses. Make excuses to do stuff with your spouse. Do it. If you're tired, explain that you're tired. But let your spouse know that you're still very attracted to them as long as you are.
Yeah.
Don't lie about it. But if you're having problems, that's the other thing. If you are having problems with being attracted to your spouse for whatever reason it is, that needs to be addressed as well too. We know people.
In a very compassionate way.
Yes. Not in a, yes, please.
Seek a leader if you are angry and having attraction issues, because the worst thing I could ever hear from you is if I already felt like something was wrong and you came to me and you're like, hey, you know what? Actually, whenever you're sitting down, I really actually don't like the way that your body situates. And, that would be devastating to me, or whatever the case may be,
That's just an example.
Yeah. There are ways to approach that in a very kind way. And personally, I don't think we have these issues because we get to work out together.
Mm-hmm.
And that is something, I'm okay whenever he's, telling me, hey, if you are wanting to do glutes, focus more on this, then turn your body this way whenever you're doing this, workout, or, help me grow my booty, that's fine. We'll both benefit from that. And so, but the case is that, there are ways to approach attraction in a kind way. But you married this person. This is something that the Lord can bless. Seek him, seek leaders, if you are having problems in that specific area. Now, if it's just plain sex, then talk and figure out, and maybe just regain your footing, talk about what might sound fun to both of you. And it might end up that you walk away with a compromise, or you might go try it and one of you loves it and the other one doesn't. And then you find a compromise, you can try it differently next time. That's the great thing about it. Y'all are together till you die. So let's have a good freaking time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Keep it in the bed. Keep it in the bed.
Or the hotel room. Or the garage.
Wherever you can.
Wherever you can.
Get it in, folks. Get it in.
He means don't let other people in on this.
Yeah, this
y'all's special thing.
It is. Keep it special between the two of you. Keep it fun.
Yeah. And flirt all day.
Yeah, it doesn't.
You know what? Stop right now and send your spouse a flirty text right this second.
Mm-hmm.
Tell them you want to. Tell them whatever it is. If y'all have some fun little.
Send those eggplant emojis, people. Send those. Just let them know you're ready.
Yeah.
You're ready for them.
Just do it.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that we can talk about this a lot, actually.
Lots of pointers. We're going to stop for today.
Because we don't want to go too far in. We've already gone pretty deep. But.
No pun intended. We so fun.
You're so dumb. But she's my wife. So, yeah, if you have questions, if you have concerns, again, like we say all the time, feel free, drop them in the comments. Message us. You guys can find us on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. A lot of people that are watching are friends, family. If there's people out there that aren't part of that, associated with it, don't be afraid to ask us questions. We're going to be honest with you about certain things. But it's okay. It's okay to, if you're a lady, reach out to her. Don't reach out to me. If you're a man, reach out to me. Don't reach out to my wife, kind of stuff, And
if you only want one of us to read it, you can always just message us on our group.
If you only want one of us to read it, message us and say, hey, I really want to talk to you.
I'm a lady.
I want to talk to Jess about this.
This is a lady?
Yeah, that's fine. But don't be afraid of asking the questions. Do not be afraid of asking questions to your spouse, guys.
Yeah.
Ask those questions. Try those things. Enjoy each other's life. Enjoy each other. Enjoy each other's company. Be intimate. Stay intimate. You guys are in it for the long haul. So.
Yeah, explore and have fun.
Don't be boring.
Don't be boring. That's a good range.
Thanks, guys, for watching JD and Jess on another episode. And till next time, we'll see you.
Go flirt.
Go.